Thank you for joining us at Sword and Key. Welcome. This is Twilight in the Gala of Good and Evil. This is the official start of Pride Month here on Sword and Key as we are raising money for Trans Lifeline. If you are willing and able, both those things important together, to donate at any type of Trans Lifeline, which is the main thing that we are focusing on for this lovely month, this lovely Prideish month, you can impact this game at any time. You can give crits, advantages, group crits, group advantages, even complications, which are a little pricier, but they make things a little extra fun for me, a little extra spicier for our players. It's never anything like killing a player off. It's more just like, maybe they get sucked into an intermarital affair between two Fey royalty. Maybe they get challenged to a duel by a fiendish overlord who's just, he's had a little too much drink. Things like that, things that just make the story a little more fun. I should say at the top that this is a pre-recorded episode that we tried to go live, and then the internet was like, no. So we're not doing it live. This is time travel technically if you think about it. But you can at any point donate throughout this week, donate here, and it just gets paid forward to the next game of Twilight in the Gala of Good and Evil. So please get those donations in. It goes towards a great cause. It's the month to do it. I also should also say, because I did at the top, my name's Derek Sword. I am your GM for this game. I'm your GM for many games. I'm the Sword, half of Sword and Key. Yes, Sword is my real last name. Yes, it's also no, you can't have it. I think I can't remember if I said I use he him pronouns. There, if I said it twice, it's twice as important. Um, Thank you for joining us, even for this pre-recorded episode. This will be a 3-week campaign, so hopefully next week this will be live. And I'm joined by all these lovely people with all their lovely faces, a lot of whom are new to the channel, some of whom you have seen before, but all of them just look so great. I just love them all. I'm going to have them introduce themselves here in just a moment, say a little bit about their characters, but also, in addition to just the donation stuff for Trans Lifeline, I do want to say just in general for Sword and Key, you can find all of our stuff at beacons.ai/sword and key. You can find our socials. You can join our Discord and hang out with these cool people, chat about games like this. You can also see our ongoing fundraising campaigns, including Trans Lifeline, but also stuff like Palestine Children's Relief Fund, Canada Companions for Independence. You can also see our discount codes. We have discount codes for Greenleaf Geek Dice. It's code Sword and Key for 10% off your purchase if you're looking for a new dice set. Eldritch Foundry, code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase if you're looking to get a custom mini of your very specific character. And you can also go use code EVA, EVA, all caps, for 10% off your purchase of Wishbone Cosmetics. If you're looking for some new makeup in your life that has some especially nerdy palettes, that's the place to go. It's a queer-owned, UK-based vegan cosmetic company, so definitely check them out. All that said, I'm gonna stop talking for just a second and have these lovely people introduce themselves. So I already made Queon do this somewhat live, so this feels like torture at this point. I apologize. Queon, if you wouldn't mind starting us out, a little bit about yourself and your character.
Oh, good grief. Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Keon. I use he, him, well, he, they pronouns. I'm sorry, I was thinking about my character. Um, and if you are looking for me on the internets, you can find me at Brother Keon. That is BruthaQueon. I will be playing Canias Bane, he, him pronouns. He is an Order of Scribes wizard. Just a little glitter dipped in ichor.
I love that. I love it very much. Next up, Addie.
Everybody, my name is Addie or Valdrianth on the internet. As most of you know, I use any and all pronouns. Today, I bring to you Karai, and Karai is a monk and druid class, and we'll say that they are. We're gonna save the description for later.
Absolutely fair enough. Next up, Katie. You're muted, my dear.
I always do that. Dang it. Hi, I'm Katie Quixotic. You can find me everywhere I'd like for you to find me on the internet as Katie Quixotic. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm kind of everywhere doing a little bit of everything. I'm going to be playing Hyacinth Bouquet, whom some of you may have met before in the past when she was more powerful, actually. So this is a little bit of like a backstory thing for her, which I think will be fun, and she is a College of Swords bard. Mini shenanigans we will get up to.
Indeed. I love that. Next up, Gena.
Hey, I'm Gina, she, her. I will be playing Safina Jessamina. An Oath of the Crown Paladin. I'll leave it at that.
And last but absolutely not least, Val.
Hi, I'm Val, or Space Valkyries. My pronouns are she, they. And I will be playing Mara, whose pronouns are she, hers, half elf rogue. Her full name is Marathar Constancia Virtue de Leon, so don't get that mixed up.
Again, thank you all for accepting this invitation to the Twilight Court. Each of you, your players, all, or your characters rather, all having these crisscrossing intersections of meeting each other once or twice throughout life, have all received a strange letter. A letter that arrived to you in some unconventional way. Perhaps it was delivered by a phoenix that burst into flames as it presented to you. Perhaps you cracked open your morning breakfast, the egg to make an omelet, only to find an entire letter somehow impossibly within. Perhaps you opened your front step only to find a boggle wearing a top hat that presented it to you with a smirk and then just popped out of existence. Regardless of how this letter came to you, it came all the same. And typically, an invitation to a party is not something that a lot of people dread. I say that realizing that there are introverts out there, and we do dread that. I get that. But typically, when you get invited to a party, it's not something, it's either something you're excited about or it's something that you are happy enough to just throw into the trash and forget it ever happened. This is neither of those things. This is an invitation to the Twilight Court. This is an invitation to the Gala of Good and Evil. This is an invitation you cannot say no to. You should not say no to. And why, in all of the multiplanar God's sakes, have you been invited? This is the thing of legends. The Gala of Good and Evil is a place where gods and fiends and angels and fae royalty all intermix and maybe try to kill each other and may end up romancing each other. But why? You know, you're level 12, but you are sitting there in your particular home, which knowing your characters is pretty varied. Just wondering why you. And you have a week to wonder that and figure out what you're going to wear. So, as we go into that week, we're going to go one by one, and I would love to know what preparations you might make, what outfit you might be acquiring for this event, this Met Gala of fantasy and multiversal magic. How are you going to present yourself in a place that you most certainly should not be, and a place where you are questioning whether you will survive a single night or even if there is night there? So, as we go around, the way that I always like to do this, instead of, we go in order for introductions, but let's let the dice actually tell a little story here. Let's actually go ahead and roll for initiative. And that is the order that we will go in here. So if you don't mind rolling for initiative, and you're welcome to say it out loud or pop it into Zoom chat, and I will read it out. All right, so we have a nice average 10 from Safina. That's nice. Kanaya's currently, man, even the dice want you to go first. All right, then we have Hire, which I want to make sure I spell right. And then I'm going to assume that the rogue has higher dex. I'm going to say Mara, and then Hyacinth. And that's for, who am I missing? I'm missing Safina. Oh, Safina with the nice average 10. That's right. Okay. Queon. Canias. I'm curious. How does this letter arrive to you, and what is the first thing that maybe goes through your head? As a wizard, somebody who might be familiar with the multiplanar system, familiar with some of the most powerful magics in the world, an order of the scribes. Yeah, please. How does this hit you?
So for Canias, when he gets the letter, I think it's a mix of emotions. He's opening the door and kind of sees like this little, I don't want to say like not a hobbit or anything of the such, but I think he sees like a little gremlin of something, and he just holds it in his mouth, and he just like mm, 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 and he goes to grab it, and then the little gremlin just dissipates, and immediately he thinks that his familiar has done something, and he just yells out, "Xanatos, what have you done?"
What is how does your familiar present?
Xanatos is a imp that is completely made out of shadows. The only thing that is not shadow on him, he wears a gold mask that is completely featureless. It just has two slitted eyes and like very long horns to the side.
Love that. Fantastic. I will let you think about what Canias might wear, how he's going to prepare during this week. We'll wrap back around. Addie, prior. I'm very curious how this letter finds you, and to learn more about. I know about your character. I would love for everyone else to really hear this incredible character that you've created.
So I assume it's sometime in the wee hours of the morning, deep within the wood. There is a chittering of creatures outside of a cave, all trying to figure out who is going inside of this cave to deliver this letter that a fairy dropped off, like a pixie, and the pixie was like, take care of it, because I'm not going in there. I don't know what that is and why it's invited, but I'm not going in there. And so finally, the bravest of creatures, the opossum, goes in with its tiny little hands and sort of does this little possum strut inside. And there's this slumbering form of covered in quilts and furs, and there's like antlers just kind of poking out of it, and there's like just this quick little tap on the nose of an elk skull to attempt to arise this cryptid from a trance. And it does so by first getting on all of its fours and shaking the frost off of its body, because despite it not being winter, it's covered in frost. The eyes behind the skull just sort of glow red as it turns to this possum that's sort of shaking and holding up the letter. And from beneath these furs, these long ichor black covered hands with nails that just clearly have not been trimmed in about a century just sort of come out and just hold up the letter to its own face, and it tilts its head really curiously at it and is like, smells like home. And that's how I get my letter.
All right. Next up, Mara. Where might this letter find you, and how might it find you?
This letter finds Mara amazingly inconvenienced because she's trying to steal something else, actually. She's in the middle of some noble's house, just trying to steal something. She picks up what she's trying to get, and there it is. That's not what she wanted, but that's what's in there.
I love that very much. I in my head, there's an invisible fairy that's just like does a little swap and pops something back into your hand. Fantastic. As you're escaping, and the alarm's probably been triggered. I imagine this is probably when you're reading the letter. What is what's the second thought? The first thought, I'm sure, is survival and dodging a crossbow bolt. But what is the second thought that goes through your head?
I have to steal a dress.
Incredible. Yes. Hyacinth, where might the letter find you? How might it find you?
I imagine that she is in a quite fine room, sitting by an open window, taking a light breakfast. She's just finished performing at a noble's court over the weekend, and is like planning her next steps. And she seems surprisingly unsurprised when a fairy comes in and hands off this letter, and she contemplates it for a moment, opens it up and begins to read it, and is not actually questioning why she's invited. She's wondering why she didn't get an invite to the previous year. In fact, because she's quite important in her mind and is happy to go. She immediately takes off as soon as she's finished her breakfast to commission a gown with probably the last of the coin that she's got like to spend on hand. And I've actually gone and found an image of the dress that she would have commissioned, so I'm just going to put that in chat. I don't have any rights to this or whatever. I just found it on the internet and made sure it wasn't involved in AI, but it seemed very much something like she would commission.
I mean, it sounds like you checked as many boxes as you could check, so that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. While I pull this up, Safina, where might this letter find you? Yeah, please.
Safina, I think this letter finds her at home at her little writing desk. Every morning she writes out all of her many, many, many social letters, and she's got like a nice little pen for it and everything. And I think she is writing one of her letters to one of her friends that are not relevant here. There are many of them. And I think actually while she's writing out the letter, she sort of like blacks out a bit, I guess, or like a little trance, and she finds that when she comes to, she has written out on her own stationery the invitation to this thing, which is inconvenient because it is halfway through a letter to her friend in the middle. But there it is. She has to cut it out of the letter and everything. It's a hassle. Why can't they have just sent it to me through the regular post? But I guess it's here now in my own handwriting, which is actually pretty cute.
Yeah, the amount of cursed mailmen out there that had to deal with these invitations, yeah, really, really destabilizing an entire economy there. Fantastic. You all received this letter, this decadent piece of, you're not exactly sure what it is. It presents as paper, it folds like paper, but it also sometimes feels like glass or like sheet metal. And it has this very ornate, like raised gold printing on it. Otherwise, it seems black or maybe even onyx. Like it has a sheen to it. Like there's certain points where you can see your reflection, but then there's also times when your reflection, you can see eyes looking back at you through that reflection. And there's most certainly a glamour on it. This thing does not come from the material plane as we might know the normal world, quote unquote, normal world where there's dragons and everything, of D&D. To note, as I mentioned all of you, but to those watching, this is kind of like, it's Forgotten Realms inspired, but there's going to be some non-Forgotten Realms stuff in here too, because it's going to be the Feywild. It's some wibbly wobbly stuff. So the letter, the invitation, as it is addressed to you, you are emphatically invited to the Twilight Court by the order of Queen Kiorada, Queen of the White and Black, Lady of the Twilight. I'm sorry, I mispronounced her name. It's Kiradara. Wrote it out, didn't practice it. Yes, Queen of the White and Black, Queen of the Twilight, for the event of the Gala of Good and Evil. You are expected to dress to impress, arm yourselves accordingly, fun is guaranteed, safety is not. Keep this invitation on being at your own peril. The event will take place in exactly 1 week. And then it gives you instructions basically saying that a form of transportation will be provided to you. And it will find you. So we have that week. let's go around for those who haven't kind of said what they're wearing. You get the concept very much as I think Kanias is already working with. Black and gold, hard. It's a good color combo. It's real hard to beat.
Oh no,
Um,
no, no. That's not what he's wearing.
okay, all right. The imp already had the style then. Kanias, what is your style going to be for this event?
Um, Kanias, what he wears, he typically wears a lot of pastels and bright colors, um, leaning more into the summer side of the color palette and the spring color palette. So whenever he does get the letter and he realizes that it is not Xanatos's blunders and that this is from the queen of the Fey Court, he's like, oh, okay. And he like runs through the house, up to his room, up to his study, and throws open his closet. Thou- Thousands of just like fabrics and linens and all these different like patterns that he's like, okay, cool. I don't want this. I don't want that. I wore this last season. I wore this last season. And he comes to a cream colored, very fitted and tailored suit. Um, and he's looking for a sash or a cape to add to it, just something to add a little pizzazz to everything. So he ends up grabbing a sash that resembles the color of sunset that like runs very long and drapes that over himself across his body. Puts on a little heeled boot. Um, and yeah, make sure his nails are done, gets all his jewelry, make sure that his elven ears are not uh, make sure they're as like sharpened and like as clean looking as they could be, and make sure his teeth are just as white as possible.
Absolutely incredible. Um, the carriage, I believe, will arrive for you first. A week's time has passed. Your preparations have been made. Um, where when we find you in a week?
In a week's time, he would have been leaving home. Um, by this time, he's probably just like sitting in his study, drinking a cup of tea, playing chess with Xanatos, and just waiting for them to come get him.
Great. It is, a certain point into the evening, right near that crepuscular point, right when the sun is beginning to set. Those, bats are starting to come out and eat moths. Um, you know, somewhere in the world, armadillos are coming out because they're nocturnal. Weirdly enough, but you hear a knock at your door.
Hmm. I think it's time to go. And he gets Xanatos up on his shoulder, and grabs his spell book. And contrary to everything that is Kanias, all pastels and pretty and everything, his spell book is this ratty old, just been through a lot of things, old black textbook. It's just like an old ratty looking thing. So he kind of just shoves it into the back of his sash and flares out and starts heading down to the steps.
As you reach the outside, you see that there is a somewhat, I would say it's elegant but simple. It is a black carriage that is being drawn by two horses and a hooded figure that is seated at the driver's seat. And as you step outside your front door, the door to the carriage opens and a small step extends downwards to allow you entry.
He's gonna gather his cloth up and slowly step up. Very much like the artist formerly known as Prince.
As you step up, there's you as a wizard. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check. Let's do a roll here.
2 seconds. Is that Arcana?
Yes.
Beautiful. What does a 28 get me?
Pretty good. you feel yourself passing into another plane of sorts. Maybe at some point in your wizard experimentation, you've popped your head into a bag of holding just to see what it feels like. This is you passing into a demi-plane. When you cross the threshold of that doorway, you have passed into another plane altogether, but not like an entire plane, like much like a bag of holding. It is smaller, just a little pocket dimension. And as you pass into this relatively small carriage, something that might be able to fit, 4 to 6 humanoids, you walk into a magnificent looking like study. There's a billiards table at the center. There are these decadent leather seats all about these opaque windows, all about the space that are letting in just kind of this somewhat ambient light. And you get this rich smell of vanilla and tobacco, and there's carpeting and these very ornate tapestries all about, which depict a variety of hunts and royalties and all of these various characters that are done like this very minute detail. Do you take a seat, or what might you? I would say there's also library books, or I should say there are bookshelves placed against the walls as well. Should you want to read anything for your journey?
I think he would walk around and just inspect the magic of this place
Yeah.
very quickly, and find any book that just catches his eye and just sit and just relax for a little bit, because with all this space he's going to assume that other people are going to be coming as well, and that it's not just going to be him in this.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just going to kind of lay about and just wait for his audience.
Absolutely. Well, Crier, where might well, I guess I should ask this. What is the style you were going to go with for this event?
A cryptid chic, of course. Which, by the way, it's pronounced cry.
Cry. I'm so sorry. Cry.
Yes, cry. Like
Oh,
you're crying.
Yes.
Because that's what he makes people do when they see him. Not on purpose. That's just their initial reaction. So as far as what Cry is going to wear, one, Cry does not venture very often into civilization because for various reasons, mostly because they do not enjoy having rocks thrown at them. But it sometimes they're really pretty rocks though, and so it'll just like pick it up and put it in its mini pockets. So amongst its sort of collection of bits and baubles and furs, it's able to sort of pull out its finest pelt, which is this sort of black and white monochromatic owlbear pelt that it just sort of like drapes over its own shoulders, and almost like ties it together with pieces of leather. And that's it. That's it's like, oh, this is nice-ish. It covers everything that needs to be covered, but that is about it. Brings their quarterstaff, which has all sorts of like little skulls and gems and pieces of like metal just sort of like dangling from it. And yeah, that is it'll tie like little colorful ropes around their antlers to and let's say an arachnid form like a spider web in its antlers, and it freezes it with its winter abilities and just lets that like exist in its antlers to make it look like a little almost like a snowflake but made a spider web in its antlers.
Right, it's got like that glisten to it.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay. In a week's time, you say that Pride doesn't really venture out very much.
Just hangs out and waits.
Yeah, just hanging around the same stump. I imagine there's a very comfortable stump.
Yeah.
give me a perception or survival check even.
I am. It's the same regardless for me because I'm proficient in both. I got a 22 on my perception.
Okay. There's a point where like you're so familiar with your surroundings, the sensories, like the sensories that you pick up on. You know, you are familiar with your own smell, whatever that might be. The smell of the world around you, the animals that exist around you, and then all of a sudden you pick up on like almost like if you were to blink and see something, but like you sniff and there's something else around you. And as you go to scan your environment, your home, you notice that almost like lodged between two trees, like almost like how did it possibly get there, is a carriage with two horses that like if this was a video game, this would absolutely be Skyrim where they're like clipping in and out. Like the horses are like almost in the middle of the trees. They're fine. They seem chill about it. And the weirdest thing is you're not picking up on any horse scent at all. But there is a carriage nonetheless, and as you turn to look at it, the door opens and a step descends for you.
I stand to my full height, which with the antler ornaments, they're not mine, they're just on my head now. It's probably like about like 6'5". Like I'm around 6'2", but it's got some big old antlers attached to my skull mask that just seems to be fused to my being at this point. And I sort of saunter over to this carriage. I can fit. Like that's like the first thing that I do is I kind of like look at like the door frame to make sure that it is I can get in.
Yeah, no, as you get closer, it's almost like an optical illusion. Like the closer you get, somehow the bigger the door frame becomes. It's not like it grows, you know, in proportion. It's disproportionate to when you saw it before. It is exactly as wide and as tall as you need it to be.
There's this elation of because I've been looking for this for centuries. Like it's like wait a second, I get to. Is this it? Is it finally it? And I just like kind of slink inside of this carriage.
And within, you find a very similar setting. This kind of decadent sort of study room. Again, the billiards table, the books on the shelves, the very ornate seating, as well as a wizard.
You just see like the antlers like come in first, like because I ducked my head to like come in, and then the skull, and then this, you know, this sort of like hunched over being with the staff, and it just kind of looks over at you, holds up these elongated fingers, and it's despite the fact that my mask is made of bone, it smiles at you.
Okay. So as you are doing all of the shambling into this room, Kanias is just kind of staring, fighting back the tears to cry. And to Xanatos, he just says, "So is this how you killed me? I know you wanted to get back at me, but I just didn't expect like this."
And that's when you realize I'm not waving at you, I'm waving at your familiar.
Yeah, your shadow image is like.
And I just finish going in, and you see the ornate pelt, and it's interesting because like as far as like the pieces of flesh that you do see me, like my arms, like it does kind of go like starts off black, but it's almost like a blackout tattoo to where it sort of fades off into this almost like palish winterish skin, like translucent skin tone, and you get this whiff of like pine needles and frost and the scent of a winter forest, like as soon as I engulf this room.
Oh, You smell lovely. And he puts his hand out to shake your finger, claw, hand.
I'm holding on to my staff and I lean down to your finger and I lick it with this very long tongue. And,
Okay. That is a lovely way to say hello. My name is Canias, and you are, and gets the dog slobber off. Just
points to, and all this movement is just like really deliberate and slow. Just like point to myself, cry.
are you crying? Or is that's your name?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Both. Got it. Well, welcome. Um, this is not mine, but make yourself at home. Or
Look around.
don't.
Is there a couch?
There is a couch. Yes.
Just gonna go and sit on the couch, like very gently and unassuming. As unassuming as I am physically capable of being.
Canias isn't like the shortest person. He's like a solid like 5'10", 6 foot with like the heels
Yeah.
on, right?
Yeah. Because there's no such thing as 5'11".
No. 5'11" doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Just like birds. Government made it up.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time in a long time where he has felt small.
Yeah. Okay. While you two get settled, Mara, I have to imagine we're finding you mid heist again, but please, if that's not correct, please correct me. Where are you acquiring your dress? As ill-gotten those goods may be, and where might the carriage find you in a week's time?
So there's this noblewoman who is the worst. So Mara just decided, you know, she's got some really great dresses back there and they're magically enchanted and it's just it's perfect. So, you know, why not just go in there and use her nice lavish rooms as well to get dressed and prepare and stuff. She's not using those. It's too rich to use all those rooms. So that's what she's doing.
Incredible. Go ahead and give me a stealth check to see how quietly you are absconding with all of these goods.
And that's a D20, right?
It is a D20.
I rolled a 15.
Okay. What is your stealth modifier? It'll have a plus next to stealth in your character sheet.
Plus 11.
Plus 11. Okay. So a 26. Incredible. All right. I have some guards that are nearby. You know, this is a noble woman. She has, you know, some retainers. So just to see if anybody might notice, I went ahead and rolled for them. However, for them, I did roll a 20. So while you are successful, there's just one creaky floorboard. And you start to hear footsteps coming towards the door of this otherwise empty bedroom, presumably that you are in, and you hear like the doorknob beginning to turn. What do you want to do?
Local tank main trying to think in rogue is what's happening right here.
That's fair. That's fair. It's hard to rework. Yeah.
Never played a rogue before, so this will be great. Can I do like the psychic blades at it? Can I do that through a door? Is that a thing? Or maybe not through the door, but can I do like wanted style, just like through the creak and like the crack in the door, just kind of curve it?
Yeah, as the door begins to open, you absolutely can throw a soul blade through. Sure. Go ahead and roll for an attack with that, please.
So 1d6, right? Yeah.
It'll be a d20 plus your attack modifier first. For some reason, I am unable to see your character sheet, so I will try to. Bo's newer to D&D, which is awesome, but I will try to walk you through this as best as possible. So, when you have an attack, it'll say the name of the attack, then it will say a plus number 2 attack. So that's depending on whether you hit, and then the other number is how much damage you do.
Okay. Well, I
so
rolled a
with
19.
Okay, yeah, you're going to hit. So then go ahead and roll for damage.
And then the damage is the d6.
Yes, it'll be a d6 again plus I can't remember what the plus is for a soul blade. It might be dexterity or it might be intelligence.
There's
or
one
charisma.
for dex and strength, so I'm just going dex.
Fair enough.
I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Plus
So
3.
what? Plus 3. Okay. You just as the door begins to open, you can see like the whites of the eyes of this guard, which bug just as this psychic blade that you summon into existence goes flying, and in one shot fells this guard. What would you like? Are you fighting your way out, or are you jumping out the window?
Oh, I still gotta get dressed. He's not. This
Oh,
is
sure.
not.
Okay.
We're still getting cute. So I'm just gonna drag him in there, and but it's Assassin's Creed now. Apparently, we're just hiding the body in a corner, and like there's
Sure,
some
yeah.
grass in there somewhere that convenently guards just never find any other guards in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Big pile of hay right outside.
yeah, just conveniently. So she gets dressed in this because green is her color.
Sure.
And her soul blades also have like they're green. They look very pretty green, shimmery. And so her dress is kind of shorter in the front, but kind of has like a long flowy thing in the back. Not too long, 'cause she doesn't want to get caught on anything. And of course, kind of like beaded leaf sort of woodsy motif up here. It kind of shears out and it turns kind of see-through. It's very, very gorgeous. Very elaborate makeup to match. And she's just like, okay, heels also matching. She's like, okay, I'm good to go now. And the guards, they'll find him eventually.
Fantastic.
In the hay.
Then how are you escaping this space?
I'm not gonna jump in that hay. This is not actually Assassin's Creed.
Fair enough.
No, she's just gonna sneak out the front because I'm apparently being a tank man about this.
Yeah. No, you walk out, and the guard at the very bottom, like looking straight forward, has a halberd, just kind of like stomps on the ground, sees the dress that you're wearing, and just like the back of your head, and says, "Good day, my lady," and lets you go about your business.
I was like, yep.
I will say, as you go to exit that estate, more than likely, a carriage is waiting for you. Again, drawn by 2 black horses, a hooded figure seated, and the door opens and the step drops for you.
Perfect. Just climbs on
And-
in, no problems.
And within, you find the same study. You find a wizard, and good gods, what is that? It seems very comfortable on the couch.
Mara's just gonna go say like hi to the wizard, like the wizard is familiar. Hello, pleasure,
Hello.
Mara. Hi. And sits
Nice.
next to Cry like, hi.
Waves. Like,
Mara's just fascinated. Like this is like, you were scary and cool and gorgeous. And it's just like, what's going on here?
like looks down at you, looks over at the wizard, looks down at you, and just like kind of gives like a very dramatic shrug. Party? Like,
Okay, so we're all going to the same place then.
I reach into my cloak and I pull out a button that's the same color as your dress, and I hand it to you.
Thank you. And I just like affix it. This is perfect. Yeah, no, Mara's just like making herself at home. She's vibing.
Yeah, there's a liquor cabinet, there's stuff to make tea. Like there's every kind of just minor creature comfort you could possibly want. And like if you look around the room and think, oh, why don't they have this? The second time you look around, that thing is there. Hey. Hyacinth. Already having your dress decided on. Or if there's any additions you'd like to make to your overall look, by all means. But also, where would the carriage find you?
So, quick question. How many days, like I know in the Feywild days don't, like time doesn't pass, but is there any indication of how many outfits I would need? Does it seem like it is a single event? Or do I need to have like an entrance outfit and then a gala outfit?
Go ahead and roll me either Arcana or History.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Arcana.
You did introduce that Hyacinth has been like on the, at least in her mind, perspective guest list for some time. You may do this with advantage.
Ooh. Wonderful. Thank you for that advantage. It's a 21 for Arcana.
Fantastic. Okay. With your knowledge of the Feywild, you know that this is going to be in the Twilight Court. So in that sense, yes, time is weird, but also the Feywild doesn't experience time in general the way that the material plane does. Time is based on travel. You can travel to the Night Court, or you can travel to the Day Court, or you can live in the Twilight Court. And when you're in the Court of Day, you obviously aren't in the Court of Night, so why would it be night? It's always day. And likewise for the Court of Night. The same for Twilight. You are in that crepuscular period at all times. Now, if you wanted to experience seasons, that's something else. Then you have to travel to the Winter Court or the Summer Court, or, all the courts have their own little spaces, and they kind of intermix every now and then every now and then they all kind of like visit each other, just so they do get to experience different parts of the court. But, to your question, this is the Twilight Court. The event is one night, but as far as time goes, it's going to be a strange experience for anyone who is used to a 24-hour day on the material plane. So as far as outfits go, you'll likely need one outfit, but you also know that there have been some in the past who have really outdone themselves and had outfit changes throughout the night.
Okay, here's my plan. So, they will find me, I think at this point I will have excused myself from the company of any noble person, just to avoid questions about this carriage. And I will simply be waiting in a garden, in a lovely garden, near some very fragrant honeysuckle and rose bushes. And there will be a path nearby. I believe she starts the evening then with, do you remember the gala dress that Zendaya wore that looked like armor, very Joan of Arc?
1000%, yes.
It's going to be like that with a Victorian flair, all black, with like opalescent and gold throughout, like almost like a night sky kind of thing. And what'll happen is that a portion in the evening where food will be consumed, she's going to do one of those things where you do a spin and the dress changes to a different dress, and it's going to unhook like armor bits, and the blue dress will be revealed that has like the flowers and everything in it, because that's a little bit more like comfortable and easy to move in. So it's going to be like an all-in-one outfit change. Notably, she's going to be barefoot. But she's going to have like a very gorgeous and like somewhat like looks like one of a kind, well made sort of like travel bag with her that has been like painted and adorned with similar like flowers to match the blue gown that she'll have for the second portion of the evening.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm very much seeing like Elizabeth I armor. Like anytime that she would give a speech, and I don't know, the Kate Blanchett movie also definitely skewed by actual historical knowledge, but yes, very, very much, I see what you're going for. Incredible.
Warrior
and,
queen, kind of.
Yeah, like armor, but not like super useful. Like
no, but
more...
she does have an adamantine breastplate, and that's built into the armor dress so that she can have that on.
Fantastic. And where would the carriage find you?
in the garden near like the rose bushes, and there's going to be like a path nearby, and she'll just be sitting on like a beautiful bench waiting for it to appear or to clip clop up. She understands vaguely how Fae things will work, so she assumes it will arrive when it needs to.
And it does, almost like up and over the rose bush, which you almost think like it should collapse into it, but it makes this strange kind of almost like caterpillar movement. Even the horses like elongate a little bit just to stretch over the rose bushes, and the carriage arrives plainly in front of you.
I'll stand and gather the skirts and whatnot, and as I go to step up into it, I put like a hand out, like how like a footman would put a hand out for a lady stepping into like a carriage or something, and just kind of wait to see if something reaches out to help me walk up the stairs.
Something does. A gloved hand absolutely does reach out of what is otherwise a very dark entryway. Like when you all are entering, you really can't see what's within. It's like, again, looking into a bag of holding. You can't see all the shit that's in there. You just reach in and hope for the best. This is very similar. You are going into a demiplane, but all the same, a gloved, white gloved hand extends outwards and gestures you in, disappearing once you have stepped inside.
Thank you, darling. As she takes her steps up and walks in, and she makes an effort to, as she's like crossing over the threshold, when she realizes that it's not like, it was darkness, and so she could tell there was something going on, right? She'll cross over the threshold and do a little bit of prestidigitation to get some like hair blowing in the wind kind of action, really make an entrance before taking in the scene around her.
And yes, you would absolutely take in the scene of a green dressed I will let you all kind of describe each other, because I don't think that Mara would necessarily give off immediately rogue vibes. The best of rogues don't. You kind of get like, the immediate vibes from Cry, maybe some wizard vibes from Canius, but
the book kind of gives yeah.
You all see a new person has joined your carriage.
And I think the first thing I do after surveying the room and kind of making like a general like wave, I see Mara actually and kind of nod my head.
Mara nods back, of course.
I'm gonna go make myself some kind of like poinsettia style drink, but with like edible glitter in it before returning to the group. Standing there with like a champagne flute kind of thing.
Absolutely. Safina, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
So,
where are you finding? Yes, please.
So Hyacinth is gonna hate this, but because Safina was also a paladin, I was thinking also like the Zendaya. She's gonna hate this. I love this.
Please show up wearing the same thing. Please do it.
She's wearing something.
Designer.
Yeah, she's wearing something similar to that, but like, the Greenwich armors, the which have like the black, technically they're blued, I think, but they look black and they have the gold gilding on it.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. So basically, it's like if Zendaya's Joan of Arc was the Earl of Cumberland armor with like a gold damask gilding out of it. She's a half orc, and she has her little tusk. She has like matching little caps for it that have this is probably gonna be a problem later, but they have like little chains that go to like earrings that she has, and she has a bunch of she has, I can't remember what they're called, but that go around the rim of your ear, the conch earrings. And they connect. She has like tusk caps that connect to that, and she has her hair up, and they match her gold gilt and black armor with the like a chainmail skirt and the whole thing. Not exactly the same as Heist. She doesn't know this. She doesn't know who this is, but we're wearing armor dresses basically. That's what she's doing. She's very comfortable in this as a paladin. She's used to the heavy plate situation.
And where would the carriage find you?
She will still be at home. She has her little I'm gonna call it a townhouse somewhere. Somewhere in the world, a townhouse.
Single story, 2-story?
It's a couple stories big, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna say 3. It's kind of big. It's not big enough to be like a manor.
Mhm.
But she is a courtier, so
Um,
it's like cobble street situation. Probably similar to the house that Mara was robbing from, actually. No.
It could have been the same house.
Could have been.
probably.
Maybe.
yes,
You don't know.
One of your green dresses is missing, and there's a dead man in your bedroom. But it's a Tuesday.
You'll find him in the hay eventually.
I mean, there is a stable out for my steeds.
Mm-hmm. I have to imagine it's while you're on the 3rd story of your estate that you actually hear a tapping at your window. And looking out immediately, you don't really notice anything until you look to the side and then up and then down. And looking down, you can see that, again, like a horse in Skyrim, this carriage has placed itself perpendicular to the wall of the outside wall of your home, and a doorway and a step has extended downwards.
Oh gosh, perpendicular. Oh geez, I'm in plate armor. Not exactly very dexterous. Oh, gosh, could have to climb out this window, I guess. That's what I'm imagining. Okay. She's gonna look around. She's gonna push up a chair to the window. Okay. Step up in the window and hopefully hope that this works and try and step at the carriage, like in the carriage's direction, very confidently. Don't let the carriage know you're afraid.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh god. I am a paladin. My auras apply to me.
This is the 2nd time I will have tried to kill Gena with a fall in one of my games.
It's a 17.
It's a 17. Fantastic. You do not fall. I think one of your like salets catches just on the windowsill, and there's a moment where you do stumble and are like going face first into that doorway, only to find that once you have crossed the threshold, like you just step into it ever so gently, like going into like gently moving into water. You kind of feel a little bit of pressure, and you step and find gravity has once regained its normality for you, and find yourself in this study surrounded by all of these other guests.
I'm gonna pop out real quick and cast Thaumaturgy to close the window behind me.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you pop your hand back out of the plane, close your window, so it definitely seems like you haven't been kidnapped.
Brian kind
for
of
your
jumps
courtesy.
at like that sound, like a little scared, like like a deer, like oh god.
Hi.
Nice is making a drink.
She doesn't even like look at who's here. She's like, hi, hello.
Oh, you have excellent taste, darling.
Oh my goodness, we match. So exciting. Oh my gosh, Kanaya's darling. Hello.
Just gobsmacked. Safina goes in to hug you, does like mwah, mwah. What are you doing here?
I am going to a party. How exciting. You going?
Yes, actually.
We all going? Is this your friends?
Yes.
Introduce me to your friends.
That's Cry.
Hi.
That is
I
Hyacinth.
show you my teeth.
Oh my goodness, that's so cute. I love
and-
it.
And this one here is Mara. I pass you a drink.
Ah, yes, thank you. I don't know why I'm doing a cigarette gesture.
It could be a champagne flute. You know,
Yeah,
you're
right.
holding it under the cup.
Fantastic.
Every character I do smokes. No, they don't. Just the paladins.
I will note to all of you who have been in this space that the transition from one person to the next has seemed almost like moments pass. It's not like you've been sitting there for minutes or hours or anything, as this carriage has somehow made its way across vast distances. It's almost been like a back to back to back thing. Like when Crier walked in or s- skulked in, it was like that's right when Kennis was reaching for a book. Like as soon as Cry took the couch, that's when Mara walked in. It's been very quick succession of all of you entering this carriage. Uh, and despite all of that, you have felt no movement whatsoever to this space that you all have been in. Um, and one other addition to this room, as the carriage door closes once again, another door appears. Um, in the perpendicular wall to where the carriage door was, all of a sudden there is now a solid wooden door with a very ornate golden knob right at the center of it. It is rectangular in shape. And all of you would watch as the knob would turn and the door would open, and out steps a very well dressed Harengon, a rabbit folk. His ears almost like slicked back down his head. He is coloration wise split directly down the middle in black and white. And he presses his paw like fingers together in front of his suit and looks around through tiny little spectacles, his little pince nez on his rabbit face.
I see all of you have made it to the carriage successfully. Please make yourself comfortable. We shall find ourselves at our final destination post-haste. Should you need anything of me, do please knock.
And he bows and also like scuttles his little feet as he's bowed back into the door, which seems to close without any manual movement of his. That's where we're going to take our break. So when we come back, we will get you all finally to this gala, or at least we'll see if you can get into the gala. We'll leave it with that. We're going to take a break, about 10 to 15 minutes. Please do stick around. Donations are always appreciated and accepted throughout breaks as well. And like I said, this is a pre-recorded episode, so it will go towards the next game. But hey, advantages, crits, complications, they're all going towards a great cause for this month. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you for joining us again. Welcome back. We are back with Twilight and the Gala of Good and Evil, a mini campaign here on Sword and Key in support of Trans Lifeline. I am joined again by these lovely folks for the first of our 3-week sessions. Again, this is a pre-recorded game because of tech issues, but you can donate to Trans Lifeline at any time during this stream, essentially, or throughout the week, and just pay it forward to give some advantages, some crits, or even a complication towards these lovely folks. We are going to jump back into things. You have found yourselves in a magical carriage of sorts, being absconded to what you presume to be is the gala in question, all being invited officially with your invitations. You found yourselves in a fancy study, a demiplane of sorts. A Harengon has walked in through a door that was not there previously, and has said if you need anything to knock. However, it's not even a minute after that door closes that for the first time you feel movement, and it's the movement of stopping more than anything else. You suddenly, like, everything just jolts a little bit under your feet. It's not enough to knock you off of your feet, but it's just kind of like the room just shifts a little bit and then shifts back. And the Haragon again walks out of the door.
We apologize for the delay in our journey. It's not always easy traveling in the less conventional pathways. Some traffic, you understand. Nevertheless, we find ourselves at our destination. Please do exit carefully, and do enjoy yourself. I do hope that you will have a lovely stay, and I do hope that it is not permanent. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And gestures for the door to the carriage that you all had entered through, which opens once again, allowing you all to exit and depart.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Of course.
Hyacinth first out the door, similarly the rest
Mhm.
of you following behind. Should you have any food, drink, or item that you brought from the cart, it does stay with you. It doesn't magically disappear. And you walk out into that wonderful place just between day and night. That place when the sun has not fully set. There's enough light in the horizon that you can see all around you, but there are fireflies, lightning bugs, whatever you want to call them, that are twinkling all about. And you look in front of you to see the ruins of an estate. There used to be, presumably, some sort of castle here. Um, what you see now is what is left of the first story, with crumbling fortifications kind of all around. You see that there is an archway, there's a little bit left of a wall, there's a bit of an iron gate that is long since rusted almost completely away. uh, and again, an archway that would otherwise lead you to, down a stone pathway of a very overgrown courtyard, and what is left of the inner bastion within.
I'm going to make the assumption that this is how it's supposed to look. And I'm just going to look over my shoulder at my bag and kind of do a little follow me gesture and saunter through the archway.
Yeah. And you do. And through the archway, you go past the tall grass, which has not grown in the stone pathway. And so it's almost like walking through like a field of tall grass, or even like a cornfield, sort of, where all of a sudden, like grass that is almost at eye height kind of surrounds you. But yet, as you walk through it, it seems to almost bow out of the way so that not even a single blade touches your dress or person. And you continue on into the inner bastion and find stone floor, cracked. Um, you can see that there are some rusted suits of armor which probably stood guard at one point that have kind of collapsed off to the side. And you can imagine where rooms where you can see rotted bits of wood, likely where there was a great dining hall. You can see that there are the little animals all just scurrying about, little crepuscular animals. There are rats. You see bats flying about in the night. Again, the lightning bugs still flickering all around you. And that's kind of what you pick up just as you walk in. What are you all what are you all thinking? What are you all doing as the carriage goes to pull away?
I have something, but I also have sandwich in my mouth.
Totally fair.
I think at this juncture, Hyacinth is still operating under the assumption that this is like the foyer of sorts, or like there's a glamour, or she just kind of like walks in and stands in the middle of the main room and looks around like she's waiting and sipping on her drink.
Okay.
Okay.
Please, cry.
Oh, go ahead.
Like Cry kind of like stops in the archway, and I guess like one of the things that he wants to know is this something? Is this someplace that I have been before in my youth? Do I know where I'm at?
That's a good question with what we've kind of established as a very extensive past. Well, go ahead and roll me a history check. We'll see if how high you get kind of determines if you've been there, and even higher than that determines if you remember.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me. 17.
17.
Mhm.
I would say that this is definitely a place that you probably have passed by in your travels. How welcome you were, maybe a little up in the air. Um, But yes, this absolutely was. This used to be a hall of a moderate lord, not necessarily one of the upper echelon, not necessarily a lesser lord, all the same. Somebody who was kind of like rising up in his time. This was the hall of the Silvermanes, who were a moderately influential family of humans, who seem to have lost what influence they have in the years since you passed through this area.
Cool. So, and this we're still in the material plane. We're not in the Feywild yet.
As far as you're aware, yeah.
Okay. Um. I just say in like this very guttural sound, Silvermane.
Right. I should have said this back when. But did I like? Did the Harrington seem like? Did I believe him when he said that we were here? How convincing was this to me?
Yeah, you can roll an insight check if you'd like, unless you have any like zone of truth stuff you want to do.
I don't
Rewind
have that
time a
many
little bit.
spells. I'll do an insight check. I have advantage on insight checks because I have a ring of truth telling.
Fantastic.
17 plus 3 is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The Herringon did not seem to be messing with you at all.
Okay.
If anything, seemed a bit distracted. You kind of got the vibe of like servant who's dealing with people that they think are even lesser than them.
Mhm.
Like, do you know who I work for? Kind of like
Mhm.
I have to deal with this riffraff. Why did I get assigned to this? Like, they were still polite. They were still doing their job, but there wasn't a lot of eye contact, and there was a little bit of like kind of tucking up the teeth that perhaps Safina, as a paladin, may have seen sometimes when it comes to courtiers.
It's like not messing with us, but because we're not worth messing with. Okay, so.
Got it. Kanias, as all of this is going on, would walk up closer to Hyacinth, as she's just waiting. Hello, are we in the right place? You seem like you've been here before. You're muted, my love.
Katie.
I keep forgetting I'm muting myself there, and it doesn't like stay showing for me anymore.
It's
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah. What did I say? I said, oh, I've never been here. But this is where they brought us, so I assume this is where we will continue on.
Do you know why you were invited, actually?
Of course, I'm Hyacinth. Hyacinth Bouquet.
And he kind of like does like the mental gymnastics of rolling through his Rolodex, like,
Yeah.
never heard of you, but I am happy to meet you. Puts out his hand.
Of course. And she does like one of these like shake
Oh.
things.
Oh, he kisses it.
She looks pleased.
I was raised proper, I guess you should say.
Seems as such.
I've never been to the Feywild before, so I can't really. I've heard stories that this is a place that we should be afraid of. And personally, I'm not sure of why I received this invitation. Rather happy and glad, but no clue yet.
If I were to measure a guess, I would say that we are probably going to be toyed with. It will likely be quite dangerous, but we'll have a great chance to make a name for ourselves. And either make
Sounds
powerful
fun.
friends or enemies. Both things of which you can capitalize on.
When you say powerful friends and enemies, I look at Xanatos and I'm like, been there, done that. Yeah, of course. I am ready to see where this goes.
Kanias and Hyacinth, as you're having this conversation, both of you roll for Arcana, please.
Absolutely.
An 18.
20 not natural.
Um, Hyacinth, it's when you make the comment about toying with us that Canias, like you feel just like a little flick on the back of your ear. And the comment about powerful allies. Hyacinth, you swear you can hear like haughty laughter down the hall. And then both of you kind of just looking absolutely, you swear like one of the rooms down the hall, a room that you can easily see, like the wall is completely worn away, but there's, a bit of a doorway that's kind of perpendicular to where you are. And you can see light emanate from that doorway and the shadow of somebody, two people, who then step out of the doorway. You can see their shadows moving without any seeing what is creating those shadows. And soft music is lilting now. Its origin you can't necessarily determine.
Oh, it seems as though we might be passing through right now. I give like a bow to the shadows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Full bow. I think they've already started toying with us a little.
I believe they started toying with us when they invited us. What about the rest
Fair
of you?
enough.
Do you know why you've been invited? Sorry, not to cut you off.
No.
No idea. But I'm fine with that. I'm sure this will be very fun.
I don't have anything witty to say. I was really trying to think of something witty. I don't.
I just imagine that's all Sabina does, though. It's just like make that expression. It's like, why wouldn't I be invited? Look at me. Like-
I'm
Same
really fun at
Safina.
parties.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Mm-hmm.
What do I see in the direction that the haughty laughter occurred?
You notice that the banquet hall, what you think is the banquet hall, like there's trenchers that are still somewhat holding together over the time and elements that they've been exposed to, but that's where the laughter seems to be coming from, and you swear that like you can't see where it's coming from, but there is light now emanating from that room.
I'm going to turn to the rest of the group and say, we might have to make the final steps ourselves. And I'm going to walk into the banquet hall and I'm going to like mentally, as I'm crossing through the threshold into that, whatever there might be left of the threshold, think this is me entering the room, like into the place I'm supposed to be for this banquet hall. And see if that makes any difference.
Walking into the banquet hall, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 15.
15. Okay. With that,
D&D Beyond gives me a passive insight too. That's interesting. My passive insight's 21.
You have a passive everything.
Technically,
yeah.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess you would, wouldn't you? But 15 for perception.
Hyacinth, you see that the fireplace has ignited, and that it is emanating a like warm yet purple turquoise flame that is kind of like this very vibrant light that's being cast all about this room now. And above it, in kind of gold lettering, actually like on the chimney itself, like almost etched into the stone, is Sylvan. Do you speak Sylvan?
Let me go look. I do not.
I think.
Okay.
Do I have any linguists about? She like waves them into the room. She's not being rude. She's just being like, there's something over here. Like somebody who can help. I can't tell what's going on.
Canias walks in after you, and I can read Sylvan.
Okay. Kanaias, you walk into the room and you see exactly the same thing. The flames ignited this gold lettering. What you read is a riddle.
Great.
How comfortable are you, Queon, with riddles?
I'm rather comfortable with them.
Okay.
Kanaias hates them.
Fair. That's, you know what? As a wizard, yep, that makes sense. I feel like you come across those a lot, and often it's like, I don't know, is it time or water or the
The
moon?
first one
It's
was fun. The 17th is a pain.
yeah,
It's teeth,
they're
isn't it? It's teeth.
they're all teeth.
Old man, I don't
Okay.
know.
So this is a riddle that I have written. It is not anything that you can necessarily Google.
Fine.
So there's a, in that sense there's a difficulty level to it.
Okay.
It says, "Men have killed to feel my weight. I rest upon the mines of fate. A simple ring of gem and gold, my power made by kings of old."
As he's reading it out loud,
Mm-hmm.
just to get anybody else in on the
I'm
scenario.
just standing over and just looking at it. Like just like looming over you, like really closely over your
Right.
shoulder.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
paste it in chat.
I
Just
will
please.
absolutely put it
Please.
in chat. So I will put this in Zoom chat. This is, "Men have killed to feel my weight. I rest upon the mines of fate." Oh, I should have done the shift enter. A simple ring of gem and gold, my power made by kings of old.
Crown.
Does Cry say crown out loud?
In Sylvan. Mm-hmm.
Right, you seem to remember that the Silvermane family, as much as they were, moderate lords, you remember that like one of the big symbols of their house was a silver crown, the silver mane that they wore. And in your time here, I have to imagine that you might have seen a throne room where that crown might be.
I just saunter away. Like, into like where the crowd like just like start. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Like,
This does.
Hold up. Can I just be like, can we maybe be a little more useful with each other here and do can I do psychic whispers so we can all telepathically talk? Because then Cry can
Yeah.
just say things because you don't have to, it doesn't, require words, as it were. So you would just know what Cry is trying to say.
So essentially, Mara is creating a psychic connection between all of you. So all of a sudden, all of you can hear each other in your heads.
All right.
Hi. This is just much easier, isn't it? I think
I
so.
scream.
Fair. We all feel that. Don't worry.
It's
I think we've also
fine.
established in my other game, because I do have a soul knife in my other game, that Mara is like the the old timey phone connector thing. So like Mara can like mute. Essentially, Mara is the Zoom like manager. So
I'm
Mara
tech
can mute.
production.
Yeah, like for two people to talk to each other, they have to go through the switchboard. That's what I was looking for. That is Mara.
Got it.
When we're all conjoined in mind, Kanaias is like, great, there's another up here. But when he says that, you guys hear him say it, but it's overlaid with a couple different like whispered voices.
Oh, fun.
I think when the link first took hold, you all started to hear a little bit of music before before the announcement was made that was happening, and then it abruptly stops. Like, oops.
No, you can keep doing that. That's great.
That was nice.
It's a little something I've been working on.
This
Just
all
thought
did
this-
remind me. This all did remind me that Safina does have like a little gold circlet. I totally forgot about it. I wanted to say that. It's just a simple gold rim. It's not relevant, but
It's nice. It's
It is
nice.
important for us to know.
she's Oath of the Crown. She needs a little crown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Does anyone know where it's gone? Where are you? She's like thinking.
I think I see it. It's rummaging.
That's exactly what's happening. I'm rummaging.
Yeah.
Like,
Friend, what are you rummaging for?
crown.
Oh,
Almost
fascinating.
like you're time traveling. You're walking the hall you'd walked so many years before, and just a jagged finger will point and go, barracks, kitchen. And before long, you find yourself at the end of that long hallway where it terminates into what is almost a completely open space. What
Mhm.
remains is a slightly raised dais with almost a throne. The entire back of it has crumbled away. It's more just like a U shape. And then behind it still stands a magnificent archway of stained glass that somehow has sustained itself through decades, centuries of time and tether. And sitting on the U-shaped throne is what you remember to be a completely untarnished, very ornate silver crown.
I will approach it. I will not. It's just like free living out there. There's nothing touching it, right? Like a glass around it.
For fun's sake, there's someone wearing the crown. There's a very weathered corpse that maybe because Cry wouldn't pick up on that, like that's just normal to Cry, but there is a very weathered corpse wearing the crown that is somehow still sitting like straight up without a back to this throne.
I am not gonna touch it. I will first go ahead and cast detect magic. Just to make sure that it's okay to touch. So
Yeah.
Oh my god, I haven't done a D&D spell.
So I'm fairly certain
Yeah.
that as you look around using detect magic, there's kind of like ambient magic just like the slightest vibe. Like there's the slightest aura to things. But the way that I always imagine the detect magic is like every school of magic gives off a slightly different color. It's like looking in heat vision. The corpse does not give off any magic whatsoever. The throne does not give off any magic. There's maybe a little bit of abjuration magic that's just barely given off in like the stonework around you. But the crown is giving off heavy what would that be? Conjuration magic, I think.
I would like to rest your con. I spent the 10 minutes to ritually cast detect magic. But as I like kind of see that aura around of conjuration, I'm not a wizard. I'm just a guy. In my psychic link, I go, wizard.
Yes. And it's a cacophony of yes.
Doesn't bother me. And I just like point to the crown as if you're there. Conjuration crown. Come
Okay.
take.
Okay, fair. All right. And he just comes around like going through. I feel like it was very easy for Cry to just push past all of this mess and like rubble So he's going through it and just, oh, um, you want me to grab this crown, the one atop their head?
Yes.
Why can't you grab it?
Don't like metal things.
Hmm. hmm. So it's not cursed, is what you're saying.
Conjuration.
Okay. Um.
I didn't cast detect curse.
Can I cast identify on this?
Sure.
Thank you.
Casting identify.
Yes.
You would basically pick up that this is essentially this is a planar spell that has been soft baked into this crown. This is going to essentially teleport you to another plane once worn.
Do I know if I grab it and use it, will it teleport all of us, or will we all have to touch it and teleport?
Seems like it is worn by one person at a time.
Okay. Um, I understand that you are not a fan of metals, but if you want to get where we're supposed to be going, you're going to have to touch the ground. I'm afraid.
Okay.
So after you, and he motions to the ground.
Sure, but before I even as you're talking and doing the identifying though, I'm actually taking some of the finger bones off of this corpse and putting it in my pocket.
Okay.
That part doesn't freak him out at all.
And I stop and I go, for trade.
Oh no, fair enough. Grab
I
the femur
can
for me.
Your bones?
Not my bones. No.
Can I
N-
have your bones?
No, my bones and most of me is already contracted to another when I die.
Ah.
I appreciate the reference. Cry, as you are picking phalanges off of this corpse, very softly the other hand goes to rest over your claw. The corpse hand rests over your claw. It just pats it, and the corpse just kind of empty sockets, looks at you and goes, "Hello, Cry. Good to see you." That's fair. That's what I did the
that
first
was a
time I saw
happy
you.
noise, by the way.
Oh.
Over the Wi-Fi, you
Yes.
guys hear, please get. There's an undead, and they know Cry. And also, if we're trying to get to the Gala, it's this way.
I feel like I look at the other two and go, I guess we better go see what they're up to.
And just as you all are walking in, you watch as this corpse just nods to Cry, takes the crown off of its head, and just kind of places it over this, tries to get it over one of the antlers, maybe just kind of ends up putting it on the snoot of the skull, and then just vaporizes.
I look at everyone and does the corpse vaporize?
It does, yeah.
But the things that I took off of it, does that vaporize?
You can keep your finger bones.
Yes. Okay. And I just go, friend's gone.
Know them?
And then you'll watch as Cry disappears. Not instantly. Just as the crown almost seems to widen around Cry itself, and almost like a magic trick. As the crown seems to swallow Cry, it rattles to the ground, leaving nothing behind. And Cry, we will get to you here momentarily.
Kanias picks it up, and if we are trying to get to the place we were invited, the crown is the way to go.
Ah.
And I put it on top of my head.
Very similarly, it widens just enough to get over your head, slims at your neck, widens at your shoulders, and I feel like maybe I saw this in Stargate. I don't know. Just like completely just rattles to the ground right after it's passed over where your feet are.
Mara picks it up next and just hands it to Hyacinth, like, after you.
Oh, thank you, dear. I'll place it on my head, but like as I'm doing it, I kind of like nod for my little suitcase to come a little closer to me, like stand next to it so I'm touching it. Shake my hair out, put it on.
Absolutely. Yeah. You and the suitcase both disappear.
Then Mara just puts it on. It's like, all right, let's see where this leads.
And then there was one.
A quick look around to see if there's anybody else around here.
You can give me Arcana, Persuasion, even Investigation.
A persuasion? Not
Did
a
I say Persuasion? Perception
Yeah.
is what I meant. Yeah, you can persuade if anybody's around here. Absolutely.
Persuade
guy's
them to
dead.
show themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, the other P skill, not that one.
I'm very charming. No, I will do an Arcana check. What is that? 13 plus 5 is 18.
Yeah. It almost seems like as your companions have gone somewhere else, that like it feels extra empty here. Like it's almost like there's negative people around at this point. Like your steps seem to echo ever more, and like what little lilt of music and laughter, it all seems to kind of like a sound machine's been shut off. Like you're in a sound deprivation chamber, and everything just kind of seems like it's closing in here. Like the magic in this space is not holding as tightly as it once was.
Mm-hmm. Safina is trying to get a feel for how these spaces work and if there's any, bouncer type people. I'm trying to figure out how to spot the people she's not supposed to be seeing. There's nobody here, so she'll take the crown.
You say that it's just as you're kind of getting that vibe that you do hear a voice come from the shadows. Not going to join your friends?
Takes a little time to put a face on,
I appreciate someone who's a little more suspicious about jumping headfirst into things.
It's what my job is, in some respect. Put the crown on. I think for a second it's touches her little circlet, so she has 2 crowns on.
And just as like the crown's just about to pass your ears, I'll have to see you at the party then. And you all now find yourselves in the Feywild. You find yourselves more specifically in front of the Twilight Court. To say that it is like sensorily shocking might be an understatement. You have gone from what is essentially a drab husk, the shell of a former keep, to the front of a palace that seems to have been created by the wildest minds ever to develop magic. This place seems to glow with a light that is both, fluorescent and neon. There are purples and turquoises, and this ever-present twilight, just looming aura that kind of just it drifts over everything. The smells around you can smell the incredible baked goods that seem to be coming from a kitchen, sweets and savories, and every noise, every sight, every sound, you can literally like taste the baked goods on your tongue. You are so overwhelmed in that moment, and just to add a little extra to it, fireworks begin exploding above, and you are now just about 50 feet on a purple carpet, where you can see that there are numerous other beings of all various sizes, horns and capes and weapons and armor, and all of them seem to be funneling towards this massive set of double doors on this palace, where you can see that there are guards standing with glaives, and all about is music and light, and you all just, like, while everyone else is chattering over the music in a variety of languages that might seem like a cacophony, you all are just there. What would you all like to do?
Immediately overwhelmed because, oh my god, there are so many people. I'm
Yes.
gonna wild shape into a possum.
Okay.
Just and like hide my face with my little hands.
Completely fair and rational thing to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
I think take a moment to do my absolute best to look unaffected, however successful or not I am at that. Finish the drink, look around for like staff to hand the empty glass to.
Yes, a herring gun seems to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once, as there are Haragon staff moving all about. All dressed in like kind of butlerish finery, blacks and golds, and all of them with a split white and black strictly down the middle, and a little pink nose, and a heron gun with a gloved hand. Thank you, miss.
And I do the like, I like kind of looked around and just hold it out and like let them take it. Thank you. And do a little prestidigitation hair blow and start walking down the carpet.
Amazing. So Kanais, as he comes into this and realizes that where we are, first of all, he's gonna look at Cry. And are you okay? Honey? Okay.
Just
all
like
right.
vibrates.
Okay. So if you want me to, I can carry you in. If you don't want to, do it yourself.
Look up at you, and by the way, like my wild shape form still has a skull. It's just now a possum skull, with little red glowing eyes at you. And then I lift up my arms and make grabby hands.
Okay. So I'm holding Cry.
Holding the possum.
Yes, I'm like holding the little possum. I have Xanatos grab my cape, turn invisible, and he's just like holding it to the back. And I cast dancing lights that are like little butterflies, and they just like flit around and follow us as we walk down the carpet.
Incredible.
Mara's just kind of like, so many dramatic personalities, just walks.
Yeah, that the confidence in and of that of somebody who's just like, hair blow, cape flow, it's just like, fuck you guys, like, I look great.
Safina thinks that this isn't dramatic enough for Mara, and she's gonna cast Thaumaturgy to do like little like sparkly lights around Mara, like, you know, little like emeralds that
Oh yeah, yeah.
does not ask for this first. Just little thaumaturgy cantrip. It's subtler than you would expect actually, but it is like a little halo of sparkling emeralds.
Mara
I
does
like
do
that.
like a hair
It's not like
swoosh.
a gem, or it's not like a sim gem that's right above.
Yeah,
it.
no.
It's subtler. Okay. What about Safina herself?
I think she does kind of just fluff her hair. She is banking on the fact that like she is actually a very small, very short person. She is 5 flat, but she is banking on like the vibe that she has tall person vibes. So she is basically doing what Mara's doing, despite she's banking on like, hi, she's gonna say
Mara's
hi to
like
everybody.
6'1", so the small and this is beautiful.
Yeah, she waving. She's doing like the waving when you walk in, like, hi, oh my god, like acting like she knows everybody, and she doesn't. But it's not because she's
You
pretending.
might.
She's very excited.
Safina,
Everybody's
go
a
ahead
good
and
friend.
roll religion.
Roll religion. I'm not great at religion.
Then this might be really funny.
A 17.
Okay. So you are waving to beings. There's a lot of elves. There's a lot of Eladrin walking around. A lot of very pretty people. There are, there's some goblinoids as well. Although most of the goblinoids seem to be in service roles, at least as far as you can see.
Should wave at them too.
Not really any giants. There's the person that you wave to. It takes a moment. Like, you're like, oh, I really like your armor, and your wings are nice, and your bald head, and your sword of vengeance, and it's like, oh, you just waved at Zariel, the
Hi.
Archduke of the top layer of the Nine Hells, which name just escaped me. But yes, you just waved at the fallen angel Zariel, who kind of looks up and down at you and gives you like a mean girl snicker.
She clocks that it's Mean Girl. She's not breaking this. She's hi. Oh my gosh, I love it. Walks
with kindness. I love it.
walks quickly. She is walking quickly, like briskly, not running. Must not appear panicked at any time.
There is another femme presenting person who kind of like strides up next to you after the brief interaction with Zariel. She's this very beautiful, darker skinned, in like Forgotten Realms they call them Mulan, which I think is not great. But she's essentially appears as a person from our world, from Asia, might appear, Asia proper. Darker hair, but she has these vibrant eyes, and she's wearing this like sleek red dress, and she just leans in and goes, "Don't let Zariel be rude to you. She's just mad that she wore the same thing 2 years in a row."
Oh, unfortunate. But if it looks nice, then why get a new outfit?
Mm-hmm. I always like to keep things a little mixed up, you know what I mean?
Oh, novelty. It's always fun.
It's nice to have options.
Hey, I'm Safina. And you are?
The Dark Lady.
Oh. Do I know who the Dark Lady is at all?
Go ahead and roll another religion check for this one.
Oh, this one's probably gonna be bad.
Higher
Also
DC,
17.
but also 17. Okay. You've heard of the Dark Lady. You're like, your religious teachings are like, that's not her main name.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't remember who exactly it is.
Mm.
I've not seen you at this party before.
Well, it's my first time here. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Why were you in... Who are you?
I am Safina Jessamina. I am a courtier of, I don't know. She knows. I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't really know. I'm hoping that, I could find out. Like, it's kind of really unusual, But, it's really rude to turn down, an invitation. And, it feels actually really rude to, like, I was gonna write back to ask, like, are you sure it's a mistake? But you don't question the host's judgment. No, so...
Are you in... this is going to be odd. You smell radiant? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, that's exactly what she did. So, it stops.
So are you working... You said you're a courtier of such and such, but are you aligned particularly these days?
No, not these days.
If you're ever looking for work, I'm always looking for more help.
I'll consider it. I assume, you know where I live, or you can find out. You seem like somebody who, you seem like somebody who just knows things, like divines them from the ether.
Divines is not a word I would use, but have a great time, and I will most certainly see you later. And she goes strutting off where like all eyes on her. There's a lot of sway to that dress. What about the rest of you? Are you all just heading straight for the entryway? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm also
Wizard
like,
shoulder. Like
yeah, I'm like just, but I'm also like clocking who's like here, and if I
Okay.
see a lot of devils and demons, psychically to Xanatos, I'm gonna tell him, please remain invisible for as long as you can.
All right. Yes. Go ahead and roll for religion or arcana.
Arcana, because religion no good. 18.
Looking around, you are clocking a lot of heavy hitters. You clock, let's see, not a lot of demons. You think that until you see Zuktamoy, the demon queen of fungus, who is leaving a trail of mushrooms behind her very long train. That also she's accompanied by a small like attaché of myconids. She looks incredible for someone who would ruin your afterlife. You see a couple infernal lords. You see, let's see here. So you see Zariel. Talking with Zariel is Fierna, and they seem to be talking shit about Glacia. And then kind of just doing his own thing and hitting on a couple of nymphs is Mephistopheles. You see a number of like royalty Fae court lords. There's a number of banners you kind of clock as well. I don't think you're overly familiar with like the Fae courts and necessarily the current politics because time is weird here. But you do see that there are a number of banners that are flown. And I think the other person that you see kind of waddling up and everyone's kind of making way for her is the one and only Baba Yaga.
Oh, lovely. Baba Yaga, your hut looks amazing this time of year.
Yeah, she's getting it valet parked.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right, perfect. He kind of like, as he sees all of this, he kind of like sits like, gets a little bit more proper, a little bit more prim. All of his noble training coming back really quick. And it's just like, all right, so don't make eye contact. Keep pushing. And just keeps walking through.
Yeah. And Cry, for your part, because you did use detect magic, right?
yes, and it still is technically goes
Right.
within the time frame, even when I'm wild shaped.
So I think like where everyone else was just seeing like within the visible spectrum that most humanoids can see, like Cry was seeing beyond that spectrum and was seeing like the magic version of all of this, which is like a mantis shrimp on psychedelics. Like you somehow quadrupled the cones in your eyes, and it was just like I don't blame you for turning into a possum. So yeah, as you're looking around,
That was even before I realized detect magic was still going. Like
Right.
I'm just used to being in the forest. It's like, oh no, people! Thought this was a small party.
everything's glowing. There's fountains. The water is giving off magical vibes, and it's like all the schools. It's new schools you haven't even heard of yet. You know, there's a lot of glamour. There's a lot of like illusory spells and a lot of like enchantment spells and probably some like a lot of conjuration as well that you're picking up on. But there's abjuration. There's a little necromancy going around. All of the guests are just pinging left and right. Like if you were a magic metal detector, you would not have a break. It would be just one solid, just boop, as you're going like through all of them. And
With all
you
of
also
this
know that
happening,
everybody's
go ahead.
armed.
Everybody is armored.
Armed as well.
Armed. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, magical weapons on everybody.
like kind of like seeing all of this, I would like to actually, for my own sanity, drop detect magic. Like just stop it because, and then like I'll look up at my wizard friend with my little bony chin on his collarbone. And I blink, but I don't have eyelids, so it's just like my eye is like fading in and out. I do have eyelids, you just can't see them. So and I guess I still have a psychic link. So I start to like say something to you, but then I realize that I'm saying something to you. I'm thinking at you in possum, so it's just screaming. Like, and then I was really,
the link goes through regardless.
Right, but like I think in several different languages, including possum.
You think in possum. You will get possum thoughts for a second.
Then I realize I'm thinking at you in possum, and then I switch to Sylvan because I know that you can speak and read it. Everybody here can kill us.
Absolutely. I'm starting to think that this is a bigger game, and we are just the pawns.
Candace, it's so odd that you say that, as you all get to like up the steps and kind of look into the greater hall and see that the floor is that like marble squares of black and white. It looks like a chessboard inside here.
Oh.
But
he swallows hard.
Yeah, before you get to that, one of the Harengon is collecting the invitations. There are two armored hobgoblins on either side. They have like the Spanish curved helms and these like majestic breastplates, and they're very poofy. They look like the Swiss Guard from the Vatican a little bit. Different colors on them, but like it's a little ridiculous, but still like practical. And they again have these glaives, and the Harengon puts out a single palm invitation.
Oh, sorry. I reach back into the void that is Xanatos and pull out the paper and hand it over.
And you find that there are identical Harengon on either side, both saying invitation simultaneously. And once you hand over your invitation, I am Lord Steward Percival. I am steward of the Twilight Court. Should you require anything at any time, please do not hesitate to ask. I am everywhere and nowhere all at once.
I pull my invitation out of my possum pouch and hand it to him.
And puts out a hand to accept it.
Yeah. Here you go. Just rummages inside of myself, and just there you go.
Just all pockets.
All pockets.
Can I figure out if all of these Harengon, are they all him? Or
you can absolutely roll Arcana, yeah.
Okay. $26.
With a 26, for a second you're like, maybe it was just like quintuplets or whatever 20 quintuplets are, like, because they're everywhere, and that's until you spot there's like the slightest little black marking that like crosses over into the white, like it's not a perfect line, and you look across and see that the one across the way has the exact same like slight imperfection, and you look around and yes, these are all somehow the exact same individual.
I'm gonna simulacrum.
No, sir. Well, thank you very much for thinking, sir.
Very well. Good job.
Psychic Sylvan.
With a little bit of magical clothing.
Mm-hmm. If you have time throughout the night, or the Twilight, I would love to learn that spell.
So all we have here is time.
Can I also pull out of my possum pouch one of the spoons from the carriages and gives it to this rabbit.
A gratuity. Thank you very much.
It already
just like-
belonged to you, but go ahead and take it.
I will remember this kindness. Just like it's just a spoon, like peeking out of, like right next to a little kerchief.
Do all the rest of them end up having spoons too, or just the one?
Just this one. Good question.
Yeah, and then we just walk past him after that.
Yeah. And walking into the greater hall, again, you see that marble tiled floor of blacks and whites. Again, the purple carpet extends all the way through and leads up to a single throne on a raised dais with this massive backdrop behind. And all about there are tables, there are Harengun waiters with trays that have small bits of food and drink on them. You can also see that there is a bar off to your left. And there are multiple archways that all are open. There's no closed doors in this space, and all seem to lead either further into this palatial palace, or lead outwards towards places you have not yet seen. Mara, Safina, Hyacinth. Well, I guess Hyacinth, you did turn in your invitation. Anything you would like to do as you turn in your invitations?
Mara just takes her invitation out of her boobs and just, it's one of those moments where you're like, don't you know etiquette? And she's just like, oh, yep.
Do keep your hands to yourself. Yes.
Mara just doesn't care. Just like, okay, thanks. I don't understand. Magic is it's a lot. I'm just here to have fun.
Before I hand mine in, I'm going to take a quick look into it, because you said earlier it's like reflective, and sometimes it feels like you can kind of like, do I see anything? Does it look different here in this space? Does there look like there's like anybody looking back, anything like that?
Oddly enough, as you look in the reflection, it's almost like you're back in that same space. You can almost like see the throne, the space that you planar jumped from. So you can almost like see the material plane through the invitation, because that's where it ended up. It is a reflection of the place that it came from. So whereas before you were actually seeing into the Feywild, the eyes that you were seeing were beings of the Feywild looking at you as you're kind of piecing this together now. You know, the bits of light being the bits of light from the Twilight realm. You and now are seeing the opposite reflection. You are carrying a bit of magical mirror, essentially. So
Okay.
if you were to hang on to it, I will give this to you as you did take a look at it. It would show things as they truly are.
But I can't get in if I hang on to it, so I will hand it over. But
Okay. And along with the others, you find yourselves in the Great Hall, and there are Harengun standing at the. So you basically went up some stairs. You're coming down some stairs, and there is a identical Harengun at the bottom. That as each of you pass by, announcing His Lordship Withered Canius. I'm sorry, Canius. What is your last name?
Hold on. Sorry.
You're
It
good.
is Canius Bane.
Canius Bane. I've been mispronouncing it this whole time. Announcing His Lordship Withered Canius Bane, the Order of Scribes. Announcing the thing from the woods. Hi! Appearing as a possum.
I almost can I have this interesting little weird retcon for my name?
1000%.
Is that no sound actually comes out of this guy's mouth when it speaks my fake name, because it's not my real name. It's just
Announcing the thing from the woods. One more time. The possum. Announcing Her Lady of Magic, Hyacinth Bucket.
It's pronounced bouquet, darling.
Sure. Announcing Her Lady
Mara, you have a surname?
Mer- Merithar Constancia Bertu de Leon. Thank you, dear.
You heard that right. And next we have Safina. The servant of, well, you know. Yes, call it
Close
the
enough,
Edward.
darling. Thank you.
Right, moving on to the ones that are easier to pronounce, like Zugstamoy. And you absolutely do see that, like, as you all enter, you are hearing some of the other people that you might not be overly familiar with, some of the Fey royalty. You also see that there are, as the banners start coming in, and there are like almost small armies with these armored individuals. You see announced is the Green Knight of the Emerald Banner. Ephialtes, the Falcon Lord, who carries a red and blue banner. Morholt of the Scarlet Bear, who has a deep red and white banner. Brandely, the white wolf on a black background. And Dondonel of the Black Rose, which is a rose on a yellow background, black rose on a yellow background. And these individuals all seem to go to like opposite corners almost, even though there's 5 of them. So there's one that kind of sticks towards the center, but like it's almost like they're getting ready to charge at each other. There's the head knight with them, and then there's a bunch of soldiers behind them, and they're all just like really focused on each other, like hands on their swords. And even while other people are just all in the middle of this Gala area, and just would very clearly get knocked down in the if they were to charge at each other. A little bit of time goes by. What are you all doing while kind of the early festivities are going on?
So Hyacinth has been very much trying to do a fake it till you make it confidence kind of bit. It's not that she's necessarily like scared. She accepted this invitation knowing full well that this could be her death, right? She's like, this will either bring me, like, I'll either come away benefiting from this or I won't come away from it at all. But she's not sure what is expected of them. So I think like a slow but deliberate kind of like pass down the place, like trying to determine where it is she's supposed to go, what she's supposed to do, because she also isn't sure whether she was invited to be entertainment. So
and absolutely, to that point, there is a band that is currently playing that are on almost like a balcony area that kind of looks over everything. And you can look up to see a band of kobolds that are all pretty diminutive in comparison to the orchestral instruments that they are playing. And I feel like you've heard like kobold ska before. Like that's like it's one of those genres that's very niche and it's very ramshackle, but here is like this is classical kobold. I mean, this is beautiful. It's lilting. There's a lot of skill in their little clawed hands, and they're all wearing just like this absolute finery.
I love it. Well, can I tell whether or not it would be welcome if I walked up and did like a "can I play with you" sort of moment?
You know what? You can walk up and find out if you would like.
Yeah, absolutely. Do they have like a conductor or someone attending them, or are they doing their like chamber orchestra, we lead ourselves kind of thing?
It's more chamber orchestra. Yeah, there's not a singular conductor to all of this. What is Hyacinth's instrument of choice?
So we've got dulcimer, flute, or viol. I'm thinking viol, but she's going to... Here's what she pictures in her mind. If she can see like a moment where she could get a word in without interrupting them, because absolutely she would not interrupt them. Her plan would be to go up and ask how familiar they are with jazz. and I have a song in mind that's also like really apropos for this situation.
Yeah, not a question you can ask in the Star Wars universe. Sure.
Yeah.
You walk up and there's like the drummer kind of leans over a little bit as he sees you. I just want to make a request.
Actually, could I join you for a piece, or is that frowned upon?
You got your own instrument?
Sorry, what did he say?
No, I'm sorry. This is cardboard. It's very hard to understand. Do you have your own instrument?
I over to my my pearwood following me, and it opens up, and I pull out a really nice looking viol.
All right.
I
Is this
also
one of
sing.
those Marty McFly sort of things where you're gonna like invent a whole new genre of music?
Maybe.
I'm
How
down.
familiar are you with jazz?
I think that was my grandpa's name, but otherwise, I don't know. I can give it a shot.
All right. So she'll, performance respectfully wait for them to seem like they're willing to play with her.
Yeah.
And when she starts playing, imagine like violin viol style, like quick. I don't play a stringed instrument, so I don't know what the technical word is for it. But when they do like really fast movement, and it's going to be really, it's got like a jazz basis, and it's just actually intended to like back her singing. So it's going to be very like slow moving across the strings, like gliding between notes. And what she sings is, if I'm just doing like a small portion of it. These bones, so far from home. Madam, can you tell me the reason why I roam? These bones, so far from home. Madam, can you tell me, will I be buried alone? And it picks up after that and goes into like washboard style, like upbeat jazz.
Like Zydeco?
Yeah, little bit. And the song continues on. And it's basically like a person wandering and asking like amorphous being these questions.
Absolutely incredible. I've done my best to find a jazz song here, so I will.
Actually, this is based on a real song. I'll share it, but you probably can't put that on stream, so.
Maybe not, but thanks to Epidemic Sound, I quickly searched jazz and am going to hope for the best. So,
Hell yeah.
Please take a point of inspiration for that because that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, some jazz starts playing as you all look up to see Hyacinth has gone rogue and has joined a band of kobolds. What are the rest of you up to?
I feel like really quick, if I could, not to like take all the space. I feel like this is actually the time for the dress reveal when she feels like the most eyes in the room are on her. At some point, there's going to be like a spin, and that's when the armor pieces like fall away and fold under, and the blue gown with like the floral train and stuff is revealed.
Fantastic.
Sorry, continue on.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I feel like Mara's just trying to get a feel for the shape of the space of everything and like who all is in there and like trying to, I guess, kind of low-key case it out a little bit. Like, what is
For sure.
stealable around here? Can I get away with that?
Looking around, it is hard to find anything that you would not be able to get like a lifetime's worth of wealth out of should you return to the material plane with it. There are statues made of like solid gold, solid platinum. There's magical items literally everywhere. Everything that you are drinking from, dining from are silver platters. They're crystal glasses. You're looking around and everyone is wearing like not even like material plain like fine metals. They're wearing like moonstone. They're wearing orichalcum. They're wearing adamantium and mithril. Like they're wearing the highest of magical fashion that they possibly can. And there's magic imbued to most of the stuff they have as well. Like you see tiaras that have floating fireballs above every little point on them. You can see that there are, like weapons that were forged in the deepest hells that would probably, fell the greatest warriors on the material plane. Yeah, it's hard to really like pick what the most valuable thing in here is. You could probably even get like, you could live a couple of years off of just smuggling out a fork.
Can I smuggle out a fork? Can I just take?
Yeah, you can if you want to put a fork in a bag. So give me a sleight of hand check.
That just a D20, I'm assuming. 18 plus 11?
Yeah, no way anybody's spotting that. You palm it. It's as if it was never there.
Yep.
And yes, you also, as you're casing the joint, so standing with the throne ahead of you as you're 12 o'clock, you can see that off to the right, that leads further into the estate. You can see there are open archways which lead to a hallway, and you can see there are several branching rooms off of that. As you look to your left, you can see that leads out to a garden area, a rather, ornate, decadent garden area that has a fountain you can see, as well as something you might surmise is a hedge maze. And far off in the distance, you can see there is like a taller trees and forest beyond as well. But there's like glowing coming from the garden, just like this ambient light out there. And again, you can kind of hear and see the distant fireworks that are constantly going off. And then yes, behind you, as you have come in, you can see that there are two spiral staircases that lead upwards to the balcony where Hyacinth is currently playing. And there seems to be a second level which has other rooms as well that would lead off further past where the throne is and further off to the right on the second level.
Would any of that particularly scream out to me as maybe I should go check something weird happening over there?
If this is the amount of wealth that they're putting on display for the public, imagine the amount of wealth that they're keeping, in their bedrooms, in their safes. Imagine if there is a royalty of the Twilight Court. If she's going to put all of this just on display, imagine what she's hiding away from everybody.
And I think Mara's just like, I'm gonna go walk further in a little. So I just have to find a bathroom, And she's just gonna, it was the right where it's like further in.
Yeah. Okay.
How does sneaking work? Again, I'm baby. How do I rogue?
You roll stealth to determine how sneaky you can be. If you just want to seem like you're just explore, like it's open. There's guards, but as you go to walk through the archways, nobody stops you. Nobody crosses the glebes in front of you. But as you are moving about, if you would like to just like become part of the shadows, that's when you roll a stealth roll.
Okay. Don't think I'm quite doing that yet. I'm just mostly seeing where am I allowed, like how far are they letting me go in before they decide I've gone too far.
For sure. So walking down this hallway, you can see that off to your right is a magnificent, like puts Beauty and the Beast to shame-esque library. You can see that there is an orrery or even observatory area. Going even further than that, you can see that there is an alchemy lab. There's a kitchen, as you can kind of like follow your nose a little bit and look in to see, like there's one of the flappy doors. I don't know what they're called. But like there's, as the door kind of flaps open and a heron gun comes out with a tray of like fresh food, you look in to see the kitchen just covered in goblins. Like there's goblins on goblins on goblins so that they can reach the sink. Like it's a fully goblin kitchen. and they are just like, they're all in like little chef hats and aprons, and they're just like kind of screaming at each other in Goblin. It's a lot of Goblin Fieries in there. There's Goblin Ramses. Anyway,
Ratatouille goblin. Goblin-tooie.
yeah, there's goblins that are ratatouilleing other goblins. Yeah.
Mara just goes, I'm gonna let that weird organic mecha driving thing happen over there. We're gonna keep going.
And you continue on. I'm gonna cut away real quick because we are getting close to the end. Is there anything else that Safina, Kenius, or Cry would like to do before we hit a stopping point here?
Cry has probably crawled down from the shoulder of Kenius, like now that the sensory overload is not gone, but like many other people, when I am overstimulated, the best thing to do is to eat something. So Karai has gone to look for the table that the hors d'oeuvres are going to be present on to begin feasting.
Snacks. Yes. Yes, there absolutely is a table where several of the platters have kind of been placed, and I imagine the tables are like, they have that center post and then it's kind of wide at the top, so it's almost like those bird feeders that are supposed to keep squirrels out, and yet your little possum body just forces your way up there, scurries, and you're able to maneuver up there. And yes, before you are like just tapas, they're the little finger foods, but it is the most incredible smelling food that you have ever encountered in your oh so many years.
I open my maw, and that long tongue just like comes out and just grabs all of it and just puts it into my face. The whole platter.
A Herongon just walks by and just leaves like a fork for you, and a napkin.
I eat the napkin.
Yes, excellent.
I'm a possum. I can't talk back.
Yeah. I think that's the extent of that. I will say this, for an ability that I gave these Herongon, the Herongon kind of leans down and goes, and then in Possum speaks to you and says, "Should you need something in the future, please ask instead of just taking. A little decorum is always appreciated." Which kind of comes out,
What? And I just start like screaming at it. What does decorum mean?
Just, a little bit of presentation. One must hold themselves to a higher level. This is fancy.
I take one of the napkins and I tie it into a bow and I put it around my neck.
Wonderful. I appreciate the effort.
It's a fancy napkin, I'm assuming.
It's a very fancy napkin. Yeah.
And then I go to the next pedestal with the next tray of snacks, and I restart my feasting.
Yeah, I have to imagine it's a leap that's just like full-bodied. All limbs out. Yeah.
It's a little possum. like my butt just kind of hangs, and I'm like there for a second, then I just crawl back up. So I'm paying no mind if anything doesn't like what I'm doing. I'm used to it.
Incredible. Safina, anything that I'm sorry, did you have anything else?
I'm good.
Awesome. Safina, anything you want to do before we wrap up? Cool. Okay.
Nope.
Kim, anything for Kenius?
Kanias would just get a new drink. And instead of like mingling with everybody here, he would make his way towards the courtyard and kind of just watch the magic that's on display outside.
Absolutely. And yes, it is like nothing you would ever be able to see on the material plane. The time goes by, not very long. More guests are ushered in and announced, and after a while, it just kind of becomes part of the noise. The jazz has kind of gotten a few of the individuals to dance. None of the angels, a lot of the devils are really enjoying jazz. Yeah. You get one like, "Play Devil Went Down to Georgia," and there's the kobold that's not the same thing. You
I unironically know every word to that song, and Hyacinth could absolutely perform it.
Same. It's a fantastic song. It makes no sense, but it's a fantastic song. Okay, so it's not much longer into the night than Mara has gone off into the halls that Canias has gone to appreciate the glamour and splendor of where you are. That Cry has delved into the second table of snacks. That the kobolds all kind of look at each other and nod, and the music just stops. And for a moment, like, the chatter kind of continues a little bit, that ambient noise, and then it kind of dies away as everyone realizes like how quiet it is. Even the fireworks, you can still see them, but somehow even they too don't make any noise as they explode in the sky. And in a moment, all of the hobgoblins with their glaives stamp them on the ground. They start to create a beat. And the Herongon that you have seen stands at the front of the dais. "Announcing to you all, the Twilight Queen, Kiadara, Queen of the White and Black, her of the liminal space, of light and dark, her ladyship." And he starts clapping. "May we all be at her service." And from somewhere, not the kobolds, none of the hobgoblins, like horns start to sound, and coming from like around the back of the throne, almost like she's been there the whole time, like stepping out of the shadow of it, is this. She presents as an elf at first, but then the way that the light dances off of her skin is almost like her skin is made of tiny bits of starlight. She is both pale and dark at the same time. She's not gray, she's not in shadow. She is like if a person was a liminal space. Like, her hair seems to glint with these purples and yellows, and everything about her sparkles, and she wears this magnificent gown that itself seems to have like little bits of starlight, seems to be made of the night sky itself, where it almost fades upwards. Like, if you were to see the setting sun on the horizon, that would be the hem of her dress, and then would just fade into night as it gets to a very deep cut V around her neck, and around her very slender neck is this incredible pendant of platinum, or maybe something even more valuable than that, and within it seems like she has just a bit of celestial magic. Like, there's a bit of godhood in this gem that kind of emanates outwards, and she holds a scepter in her hand and this magnificent crown on her head, and she looks to all of you and she says, "Welcome to the Gala of Good and Evil. Be merry, be well, do not die. This evening shall be one to remember." And she goes to take a seat at her throne, and the music kind of commences back with kobolds looking at each other. "All right, boys, same stuff as before, none of that weird stuff." And they kind of look to you, they go, we gotta play with the lady around. So jazz is neat, but I think it's something our kids are probably gonna like more than us."
I nod and take my leave of them.
And that is where we were going to end tonight. When we come back next week, there are festivities to be had, and celebrations to be made, and enemies that need to get their beef out on the dance floor, and even more than that. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to this wonderful cast for joining me for this first session. I can't wait to see all of the hijinks they happen to get into, as we've already started stealing things, and talking with literal archdevils and celestial beings and gods even. This has been a lot of fun. Again, thank you to all of you for joining us. Again, this is a pre-recorded show, so if you donated, thank you for donating. It goes towards an amazing cause. It's very, very much appreciated and will impact our next game. Again, you can donate at any time throughout the week, and it just gets paid forward to the next session. I'm going to have these lovely folks say a little bit about themselves, and then I'm going to do some Sword and Key kind of news stuff, talk about our calendar, and we'll go from there, and I'll let these people enjoy the rest of their night. But let's go ahead and go around. If you would like to say who you are, where we can find more of your lovely self, so any streams you might be doing, any ongoing projects, and your socials. Any plugs that you might have, because plugs always go in the end. So, Queon, if you don't mind, start us out.
All right. Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Queon. I use he, they pronouns, and I played Canias Bane, just a little glitter dipped in ichor today. And if you enjoyed my shenanigans and enjoyed all of the stuff that I do, you can find me on Twitter or across all the internets at Brother Queon. That is BRUTHAQUEON. And tomorrow you can catch me on stream at Epiphany Games _616 on Twitch for Hillard Class Delta, and we may or may not be getting into little shenanigans, and some PvP might happen because a lot has happened in the past month. Okay, but yeah, I had a blast, and I cannot wait to play with these beautiful humans again. And thank you all for donating. It has been an amazing time.
Thank you, Queon. And I do have to apologize to you, among many people here, for mispronouncing your character's name almost throughout this entire episode. I've written down Canias to make sure I don't do that next time. But just to make sure, when you say tomorrow, because this is coming out, we're recording as of the 9th, but it's coming out the 10th.
So sorry.
So yes, no, I want to make sure that we got that right. So when is your stream?
Monday the 10th.
Monday the 10th. Okay, so technically today, please check that out. Please check out all these wonderful people in all these wonderful places. They're fantastic here. You're guaranteed they're going to be fantastic other places. Always want to make sure we can find you if available to. Okay, thank you so much, Queon. Next, Addie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Valdrianth over everywhere on the internet. You can find me at Valdrianth. I produce TTRPG content for me and my friends over on my Twitch channel. Right now, I'm only doing one game on my channel. It's one that I run. I'm running an Animorph skin of Blades in the Dark called Morphs in the Swamp. It's taking place in the 1990s in my hometown of Louisiana, because that was my dream as a child, and I am now playing it for my friends. So if you like unspeakable traumas done to teenagers in the middle of war, while also just a little sprinkle of body horror, come check us out, because that's what I do over there. Other than that, I believe next Monday on the 17th, we are having our session 0 today. So if all goes well, you can find me on Girls Run These Worlds, where we're also doing a Blades in the Dark one-shot called Be Gay Do Crime. And I don't know who and what I'm playing yet, but you can check that out on the 17th of Monday. And eventually I will have some Dragon Age on my channel as well. We're still working all of that stuff out. But other than that, that's me.
Incredible. Yeah, Animorphs really did mess us all up, didn't it? Yeah,
what are you talking about? I turned out perfectly fine.
We're all so normal. Thank you, Addie. Well, next up, what did I click on? Katie.
Hello, I'm Katie. I'm Katie Quixotic. Anywhere I want you to find me. Usually where you can find me is streaming on my Twitch channel, Katie Quixotic, 45 times a week. You can also find me on Ko-Fi there, where I will again start posting my writing, because I'm a writer, and making snarky quips or thoughtful statements on Twitter, depending upon my mood for that day. Thank you so much for watching and for donating. Such an important cause. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I played Hyacinth. She's a human bard, and she's such a joy to play. I forget what else I'm supposed to say. I think that's what it is. That's basically everything, right?
Fine, yeah. Put it out there. Katie
Okay.
does some awesome streams. Highly recommend checking them out. Are you still playing Legends of Zelda?
Yeah, I've played Tears of the Kingdom for over 800 hours now and still not fought Ganon because I have hunted down all the bubble frogs without a guide, and now I'm hunting down all the Koroks without a guide because I just am not ready for it to be over yet. I
That's
just
fair.
want to
It
keep playing.
never has to end.
Mm-mm.
Highly recommend going to check out any of those streams. They're always fantastic.
Thank you.
Next up is Gina.
Hi, I'm Gina. You can find me on Twitter at _Genathan, like Jonathan, but Jen at the beginning, the underscore is important. I am currently doing one thing. I will also be in the Nerds with Dice, their Pride event. I will be playing in their Candela Obscura game on the 27th. That is the one other place you can currently find me, I believe. Yes, that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gina. Last but absolutely not least, Val.
Well, hi, hello. I forgot all the words I prepared to say. I am Val or Space Valkyries. You can find me everywhere at Space Valkyries. Actually, this week coming up, my schedule is kind of cool because I will be streaming on Tuesday. I don't know what day of June that is. But anyway, Tuesday at like 1 p.m. Eastern, I am doing a special demo for Despalote as part of the Latin American Games Showcase. Because hi, I'm Latine. So that's really cool. Also, I have a cool short story announcement. Same day, may or may not be getting a thing published in bookstores. Something cool. Anyway, and then you can find me Thursday at 10 a.m. As part of the Latin Guild's Pride Train, or the guilds in general. Actually, it's a joint effort of all three. So yeah, that's the two things that I can retain in my brain.
Fair enough. And that's incredible. Congratulations. I can't wait to see it on the shelves. Again, thank you to these very wonderful people for helping me tell this story and for committing to 3 weeks of this nonsense. I'm very, very lucky that I get to spend time with these awesome folks for as long as I do. Again, thank you to you in the audience for joining us. For more Sword and Key stuff, please check out beacons.ai/Sword and Key. You can find all of our socials there. Our socials are going to be Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. For those, it's sword_and_key because we relate to the game and underscore is the way to go. We also have the link to our Discord there. You can hang out with cool folks like these, cool folks like the other folks around, chat about a variety of things, share pictures of your pets, talk about video games. You can also get early application access to any applications that we put out in the future to play fantastic games like those that we are playing in June. We will have some more stuff coming up in the future that I know I'm going to be running, but we also have a number of other great GMs out there who play a number of great games. Personally, I'm looking to play the Marvel TTRPG in probably September. So if you're a big Marvel nerd, that's going to be a good one. Yeah, and then we'll have other stuff coming down as well. So you always get first access on Discord, and then we post it to our socials probably less than a day later. So it's not a huge jump, but Discord's pretty cool. But I'll say so myself. If you want to find me personally, I'll jump in real quick. My name is Derek Sword. Sword is my real last name. It's awesome that you can't have it. Do you use he, him pronouns? My socials are dsword16, but most of the stuff I do is just retweeting Sword and Key stuff. But I personally, as part of the Sword and Key network, aside from all the streams that I do, also record a podcast called Monster Crush with my friend LD. Monster Crush is a monster-loving podcast for cryptids, creatures, miscellaneous monsters, and how smoochable they are. So we talk about all the spooky things, and then we talk about how sexy they are. You ever want to talk about Mothman's butt? I recorded 2 episodes about it. We just did an episode. I was gonna say, yeah, got Addie right there. Just did an entire hour-long episode about the jackalope. So that's how committed I am to discussing monsters. Our next episode is actually due to come out on Father's Day, so we're gonna have a Monster Daddy episode. It's Pride Month. It's been a wonderful, just like has to happen sort of thing. So looking at the calendar, because we do have a very great month lined up, Earlier today, we had the second episode of Public Access Welcome Home. That is Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll be running for the next 2 weeks as well. So we'll be running on the 16th and the 23rd, again, 10 a.m. Pacific time. That is, if you lived through the early 2000s and want some really harsh nostalgia, that's where you're going to find it. It's Public Access. It's a great game. It's a great cast. Tomorrow, Evil will be running the first of Moonlight on Roseville Beach, Sweet on Jenny, which is kind of it's like Eldritch mystery-esque. It's like a murder mystery that also has some supernatural elements on it to it. That's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays for 3 weeks. So it'll basically be right alongside Twilight and the Gala of Good and Evil. So this technically will be right before that, as is we're recording a day prior to when this recording goes out. So check that out on the 10th, 17th, and 24th. On Tuesdays, we play Gate Night, where myself, LD, and Shadow play Baldur's Gate 3. It's the only video game we currently stream on Sword and Key. We are like 6, 8 weeks. We're so many weeks in. No, we're more than that. We're like 13 weeks in, and we still haven't gotten out of Act 1. So I feel the Legend of Zelda pain. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but it's a great time, and we have a good time doing it. On the 14th, that is the next Sword and Key movie night. We do movie nights every other week. That will be a showing of 1917, which I have been saying is a single shot film. It's shot to look like it's a single shot film, but it's a World War I film that's pretty awesome, and I had a great time seeing it in theaters, so I can't wait to show folks. That's only on our Discord, so definitely use that Discord link on the beacons if you do want to hang out for our movie nights. But it's 6 p.m. Pacific time every other Friday. The 15th, we will have the next in our Pride Month lineup with a one-shot of Supernormal. That is a one-page game created by Ursa Dice. So I will be running Supernormal, Wedding of the Centuries. It's a gay superhero wedding where the family's fine with them being gay. They're not fine with them being superheroes, so they have to keep their superheroes, like alter egos, in check. It's really fun. I like turning that on its ear. It's going to be a great time. Horizon's Call, our 5e nautical campaign, will be back after that at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That will be on the 15th and then the 22nd. And then as of the 29th, we are taking a little more than a month's break as one of our cast members is getting married. And we want to let him actually enjoy that, not have to worry about his character getting killed or whatever. The next episode of Monster Crush, like I said, is going to release on the 16th. That is Father's Day. We'll still have public access. And this, Twilight and the Gala of Good and Evil, episode 2. We will have our last episode of Twilight and the Gala of Good and Evil on the 23rd. And then it continues on. We'll have Moonlight on Roseville Beach back on the 17th, Gate Night on the 18th. On the 20th, that is Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we have a one-shot for the Queen being run by Mare. On the 21st, we have a one-shot of Monster of the Week being run by Kayla at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That is Friday. And then the last thing for the month, aside from everything just continuing on, it's a one-shot on Thursday the 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's the My Little Pony TTRPG, Tales of Equestria, Summer Vacation being run by LD. We have a great cast for that. It's a really fun game, and like already one of the cast members had their daughter help them make a pony, and it's real cute. It's just going to be great and wholesome. And then our last movie night of the month is on the 28th. We're doing a monthly Ghibli watch, so we're watching Ponyo, and then we'll have a Monster Crush release on the 30th. And that wraps us up for June. July will probably be a little bit quieter, but then we will also be planning and ramping up for October because we always do a lot of big stuff then as well. So keep an eye out for more applications. I'm looking to bring back our Humblewood game for season 2 in the near future, and looking to do plenty of side stuff because I'm never busy. I can never burn myself out enough. Let's put it that way. Again, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for joining us. I don't have a sign off for this, so I'm just gonna say, just stay classy. Stay fancy. Yeah, great. Take care of yourselves. We will see you next week.
I see.
Bye.